I'm Davy. I'm awesome. Welcome to Davy's Awesome Stories, where I tell funny stories from my past or go on a rant in an effort to make you laugh. This week, it is the last Wednesday before Halloween. I've done several videos about weird laws. This week, specifically, weird laws for Halloween. So starting it off, in Virginia, it is illegal to trick-or-treat past the age of 12. My oldest is 13. He'd be heartbroken. What the heck is wrong with you, Virginia? You're like a military dad. Sitting there like, you're a man now, put away childish things. Like, seriously, is there really a big difference in age between a 12-year-old, a 13-year-old, or even a 14-year-old? I get at some point, it's a little childish to still be trick-or-treating. But then again, I will say this. In my state, we take our kids out trick-or-treating. We see some of the other trick-or-treaters that are clearly like probably seniors in high school. And guess what? We're just like, whatever. Like I said, it's a little childish, but there's worse things they could be doing on Halloween than getting candy. I will say this, as long as the teenage girls don't go trick-or-treating dressed like whores, I don't care. And I will say this, they don't usually. I've seen a few. But for the most part, whether it's a teenage girl or a teenage boy trick-or-treating, and I will say past that age, it's mostly teenage girls, unless the boy was dragged along. They dress in just a simple costume. So good. And they just want some free candy. Who cares? But what happened, Virginia? Were there Virginians getting tired of this? Were they sitting there going, hey, you're old enough to work at Chick-fil-A, so go get a job and get your own candy. You cheap bastard, just give them a frickin' candy. Who cares? If that's what it was, because they're old enough to go get their own job, then you need to extend the law. It's 13. 14 is the age they can go get a job at Chick-fil-A, not 13. So what is that 13-year-old supposed to do? Are they just supposed to go out into the streets and beg for candy? No bag, no bucket, they just have to take the candy home in their hands? Please, sir, I want a s'more. Come on. You're giving out a bunch of free candy. Who cares? I'm sorry, but Virginia has to be a little stuffy if that's the problem. Because living in California, living in Nevada, I've taken my kids out trick-or-treating and just standing there, not asking for any candy, just watching my kid go up and ask for candy. I've had plenty of adults just offer to give me one because why not? And I take it. And then, Virginia, how do you even know? Do you take IDs? Because again, there's not much difference between a 13-year-old and a 12-year-old. Do they have to show you a school ID that shows that they are 12, not 13? I will say this, 13-year-olds in Virginia, unite and get a bunch of eggs. Moving on to the state of Alabama, which seems to end up in a lot of my weird laws lists. This is just a weird law that applies even during Halloween. When in Alabama they say, it is illegal to dress like priests, nuns, or any other member of the clergy. Well, this shows Alabama's priorities. This is a state where it's legal to marry your 12-year-old cousin, but not legal to dress like a priest. And here's the craziest thing about this one. Most of these weird laws you find, they're just punishable by a fine or something. This one is punishable by fines and a little bit of jail time for dressing like a priest or a nun or any member of the clergy. Well, first of all, there's apparently a lot of Catholics in Alabama. A lot of very humorless Catholics in Alabama. Because what the heck? And I hope it's just narrowed down to that denomination because I guess anybody could be arrested for dressing up as a Baptist preacher. They look like everyone else. So seriously, what's the problem here, Alabama? Was there a point in time some kid knocked on your door on Halloween, dressed as a priest or a nun, and said trick or treat, and you just responded, why don't you go pray for candy? A little messed up. I'm just saying. Catholics need treats too. Although I will say this about this particular law. I don't think it needs to necessarily be a law, but it is good to know that if I ever go to Alabama, which that wouldn't be good to know, but if I ever did go to Alabama, I wouldn't have to worry about a bunch of nuns and priests walking around on Halloween. That would be frickin' creepy. Like, bring on the Art the Clowns. Don't frickin' bring on a frickin' priest. I'd probably see a priest like... But what happened? Were the priests going around making you tithe your Kit Kats? What happened? Is your Twix so delicious that you think it must be a sin and that was confirming it? And why jail time? What if you put them in jail and now they just want to talk to a priest? That's going to be a little bit awkward. The final one I'm going to get to comes from the state of Illinois, where it says, it is illegal for grown-ups to wear masks. This must have been very confusing during COVID. Like, I just imagine there had to be a ton of people walking around without masks, getting in trouble and responding, "You told me not to!" Because apparently this is an all-year thing. This isn't just Halloween. But it does make it clear it's not lifted for Halloween. So if I want to go to a Halloween party dressed as Batman or Robin or Catwoman, don't you judge me. I can't wear the mask. Or can I in a private residence? Or if I'm doing that, am I just taking a gamble that one of these people at the party is not going to narc me out? And here's the thing, I see parents dressing up with their kids. I want to do that, but my kids never want to dress up as something cool. They're always like, oh, let's do this movie. Well, I'm going to do this movie. My youngest is going to be Pizza this year. But still, what if one year my dreams finally came true and we were like, yeah, let's all dress up in a theme. Dad, you can be Jason, I'll be Freddy. I gotta be Jason without the mask, so I gotta go get a bunch of makeup and make myself look like dead Jason? Or if it alters my face, is that technically a mask? Like, what the heck is the problem? Was there just a ton of theft on Halloween? People coming in and stealing and you couldn't identify them? You were sitting there going, Richard Nixon just robbed us. Couldn't be. He told us he's not a crook. So, all I can say to this is, if you live in Virginia or Alabama or Illinois, go celebrate Halloween somewhere else. So there you have it. That's my story video this week. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you did, make sure to hit like, hit subscribe, hit the little bell so you get notifications for when I post my videos. And leave a comment I can respond to in my next comment corner. If you got any other weird Halloween laws, let me know. Happy Halloween, guys.